YouTube, what is poppin'? It is Pep Talk here, back with another video today. Why it is so important to be comfortable being alone. This is something a lot of people struggle with. I ain't gonna lie to you. As I mentioned in a previous video, there was someone I used to work with, just turning the aircon down, that was basically saying, I can't be alone. I can't be by myself. If I'm alone at home, I go to a friend's house, start messaging them, and it's kind of fascinated me because personally, I've never had an issue with it. Maybe the last 5-6 years, I've sort of really understood the value of being alone, and yeah, I thought I'd do a video on it because I sort of didn't realize that people do really struggle to be by yourself. Let me tell you something about being alone. You will never hit your potential in life. You will never, I repeat, you will never hit your potential in life if you can't be alone. Because it's simple. If you're not comfortable in your own skin, this means that, I'll start that again. If you're not comfortable in your own skin and you're not comfortable being alone, how are you supposed to love yourself? Like, honestly, how can you sit there and say, I love myself, but you can't be alone by yourself? That is extremely contradictory, and it just doesn't make any sense. And you learn so much more being alone than you do with other people. Maybe not so much more, but personally for me, I hit my spiritual awakening because of all the time I've spent alone. Let me tell you something. If I had spent the last 5 years with the same mindset I had when I was like 20, 21, constantly needing to see people, constantly needing to socialize, living a very social life, and, being in relationships maybe with more women, and we're not really going anywhere, and at the end of all this period, the people that you thought you were close with, you end up getting disappointed by because something may have happened, or you just realize you don't connect with them on that level. You can't learn all these valuable life lessons because essentially when you're with other people, the voice inside your head is muted. Not necessarily muted, but the noise of the present that you're in is essentially it's overpowering the voice inside your head. And it can be scary being alone sometimes. And I think why people get scared of being alone is that sometimes the voice inside your head can be very powerful. It can be very, I'm trying to think of the word, honest. Very honest, almost too honest. It can basically tell you up front what your flaws are and why certain things in your life are making you feel a negative way, and it's giving you, it gives you a bit of perspective as to how to come out of those situations. But the thing is that a lot of people don't want to change, and that is why they are scared, because usually being by yourself allows you to change, and people don't like change. So it all sort of interlinks into that. Why do you think there is all of a sudden more YouTubers now, including myself really? Why do you think there's all of a sudden more YouTubers doing, speaking about, consciousness and spirituality and whatnot? Because this coronavirus period has made people realize what matters in life, and it's made people realize what their true calling is. Because let me tell you, for a lot of people doing 9 to 5, let's say they're doing some sort of sales job, I guarantee you when they were 6-7 years old and a teacher asked them, what do you want to be when you're older? They didn't say, I want to be in an office on the phone and making 2.5 hours talk time a day trying to make sales. Not one child says that. You need to bring out the inner child in you, and you need to keep that innocence, and you need to keep that purity, because that is when you're at your most creative, and you don't get there without being alone. That is straight facts. Another thing about being alone, if you have problems being by yourself and the people that you are conversating with very frequently, who are your so-called friends, they don't have your best interests, you only have one perception of yourself. You only have one or a few thought processes, which, by the way, are not consistent. And consistency in thought is the difference between success and failure. They may not have your best interests. So if you constantly rely on your friends for for validation in some ways, if you constantly rely on your friends on advice and whatnot. And look, there's some great friends out there. I am lucky to say that my friends are like my brothers. I love them, honestly, and they have been there for me through some of the rubbish that I've been through in my life and some of the poor behaviors that I had early on in my 20s. They stuck by me, and therefore I think it is right for me to stick by them, and I will always stick by them because I trust them wholeheartedly. Got a little bit sidetracked there, but basically what I'm trying to say to you is that you can trust your friends, but please be wary that they don't know you like you know yourself. They think they know you. Only you are on this journey. You're born alone, you die alone. That's something a YouTuber said to me recently when I was watching a video, and yeah, it really got me because it's very true. You're born alone, you die alone, and therefore, in my opinion, which means that the only person that you can 100% fully trust is yourself. And I don't think you get to these levels being with other people all the time and being afraid to be alone. Because to give you a bit of perspective for me, I've talked about this in my previous video, and please go do check that out, in terms of how I started gaining more knowledge being alone, is that there is no way I would have hit this level of consciousness if I continued with the mindset I have before in terms of needing people around me all the time. Sometimes I like to be alone too much, and it disappoints people, and it is something that people don't understand. I guess people closest to me probably do understand, but if someone wants to meet up, let's say even if it's a female, and I'm not really feeling it that day, they take it personally. You shouldn't let people get offended when you would rather be by yourself, because what people need to understand is that it's growth. You reflect when you're alone. Something happens during the day that's negative. If you go home by yourself, what do? What's probably the first thing that you think about? You think about that particular thing. Sorry, the sun's a bit bad. I'm just driving at the moment. You think about that particular thing. You dwell in it. Dwelling isn't a good thing, but if you receive these thoughts in a positive manner, and you use these thoughts as a lesson, which I will do another video on shortly, lessons in life. If you use these lessons that you learn to benefit yourself, whilst you're alone sort of thinking this all through, there is no reason why you cannot grow and be more prepared for that particular situation to arise or other situations to arise in your life. There's no reason why you can't. It all starts from the mindset. And if you accept that being alone is a growth step, there is no reason as to why you will not become the best version of yourself, in my opinion. I wholeheartedly believe that. If you compare that to, let's say something happens in your work day and it's your fault and it's affected a lot of things, and you go home, let's say you go home to a girlfriend, and I am not bashing people in relationships here, but what I'm trying to say to you is, let's say you go home to a girlfriend, let's say you live with a few people, all that kind of thing. Some dickhead behind me trying to turn in. Let's say you go home, another person's trying to turn in. That's the other thing. I'm much more calm now on the road. I used to have really bad road rage. But basically what I'm trying to say to you is, if you went home to your girlfriend and you had these same thought processes, number one, because she's not you and she doesn't know you like you know yourself, she may give you a skewed perception as to how to fix the problem. And number two, if you go home to somebody else consistently, whether it's your girlfriend or roommates you may be living with, and you're constantly around people, and those people are potentially demanding of your time, you will not get that feedback from yourself, because as I said to you earlier in the video, the voice, inside your head is overpowered by the present noise, if that makes sense. So you're not able to get that perspective. As I said to you, to summarize, number one, the person that you may be speaking to about your problem is going to have a skewed perception because they don't know you like you know you. And number two, if you're constantly around people, that inner voice trying to tell you where to grow, what to improve on, is overpowered. You're just never going to hear these lessons. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to hear any of them. And then you wonder why years down the track you haven't grown and you're still going through the same issues that you went through, you know, a lot of your life. And this is why I make these videos, guys, because I've made so many mistakes. Like, I have made so many mistakes in life and I'm still making them all the time now. But what I'm trying to tell you is that as long as you learn from your mistakes and you use that and you channel that energy into something positive, so you learn from that mistake and you used that strategy to overcome that mistake in other areas of your life, there's no reason why you can't grow. But I strongly believe that you won't find these lessons unless you value alone time and you're comfortable at being in your own skin. Thank you for watching the video today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Please like, subscribe, comment. Any feedback much appreciated. I'm really going to start to get this channel up and running over the next couple of weeks. You know, get a proper email if you guys want to email me. I want to get like a logo and all that kind of stuff going. So please give me feedback. If you really like the video, give me a thumbs up. Please, anything would be fantastic right now. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope to hear from you soon.